let's go.
Cool. Let's start there.
Okay. My name's Aiden Smith, and I'm 16 years old, and Austin Smith is my dad.
That's pretty cool, right? That's got to feel pretty cool to say.
Pretty cool to say.
All right. So how, as long as you've been, I guess since you've been alive, your dad's been rapping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like he said, when I was born, he made the company.
Yeah.
I've always been thought of the other baby.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny to hear him say it, but to hear you say it's even funnier because you are in fact the other baby, right? So that's kind of cool. Earlier we were talking about like Josh being around when like you were a kid. So like you kind of grew up in the shop, like you grew up around these people, right?
Yeah, I think every summer I'd go in the shop almost every day. He'd wake me up, bring me there, and I'd hang out with Josh, some of the other people like Travis, James, and a couple other people. We'd just all hang out and have a good time in the shop.
What was that like? Was it cool? Was it like, do you look back at like that was
yeah,
like
it was awesome.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it was growing up with them. I think it's made me more mature as I am as a person.
Yeah,
and that comes with a lot of perks. But also just having fun like at a young age, and just being able to be myself around them, and like learn cars and kind of create a passion for it. For cars is pretty awesome for me. Yeah.
So I always worry about it with my kids, right? Like I feel like I'm dragging them along. I'm like, come on, just come hang out with me for a day. And they're like, oh God, here we go. You know? So it's cool to hear that, you know.
Yeah. Every morning he'd ask me if I want to go, and I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
He'd wake me up, and if I was too tired, I'd shake my head and tell him to get out.
That's cool.
Well, and he didn't have to hang with Dad.
Yeah.
You got to hang with Josh.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
the cool
cool.
people.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't
so obvious. Well, maybe it's not obvious, but I'll be the first to tell you, like your dad and that whole organization has made a giant impact on the industry, right?
Yeah.
Me as an individual, as an installer, as a business owner, like they're a pretty big deal in our space, right? So for you, like, have you ever thought of it that way? Like, do you see it that way? Like, is it possible for you to imagine like the impact that they've made? Do you see any of that?
Yeah. I've seen more of it as I've been growing up.
Sure.
More like 14 through like 16. I've seen a lot of it. For a while, I was really far away from the shop. I was focusing on football, and I kind of like lost track of it. And then I started getting back into it. And now I can really see like the difference it makes in people. Like I've been traveling with him a little bit more to see some shops. So just seeing that part of the industry and seeing different parts of it has also like, it's weird to see, and it's cool to see that he's making that big of a difference.
Yeah, that's cool.
The
And
coolest thing is like kids today are scrolling TikTok.
Sure.
You know, and he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, Dad, look, they're using your tools."
Yeah.
And to me, that's like so cool that like your kid sees that in their space where they are. And so that's always something that I find, you know, pretty unique and pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, because the Pain is Dead stuff has made it's huge reach. Like I don't remember exactly how you explained it earlier, but it was like a global tool company or something.
Yeah, international. We sell around the world.
So it's like it's inevitable. You're gonna scroll across a video that says Pain is Dead, right? Like it's just it's like the most well-known hashtag in our industry, right? And so it's cool to think that like that's the old pappy, you know, like that's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
I've had friends come up to me that follow Pain is Dead and be like, dude, that was sick, and just like he wraps a lot of his cars, so people that come over are like, oh, that's a cool car, and it's different. Like also in my friend group, it's a really cool thing to be around, that people can be like, oh, Aiden's dad like wraps cars, and has some pretty cool cars he's wrapped.
Yeah. Well, awesome. and that's kind of like translated, right? So you're driving now, right?
Yeah.
Now, and you referenced the wrapped car. You were talking about driving one of the wrapped cars now.
Yeah, right.
What is that? Yours is wrapped, right? Is
yes.
That right? Yeah.
It's the new color they just relaunched. Green Go Green.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Green Go.
So that's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah. I was a little iffy about it. I'm not a big green person.
Yeah, same.
And it has some gold in it, so I was a little iffy about that. But it's probably one of the prettiest colors I've seen. So yeah,
that's exciting. That's very cool. So you touched on sports a little bit. So it seems like following, obviously following your dad's stuff. Like I've seen you kind of grow up over the years, right? Like you're kind of in the background, right? But you're there, and then over the last few years, it's really seemed like you've kind of moved towards the front a little bit, right? So we see from the wrap world, you know, like we're watching, and it's cool because we see you interacting with, like, you know, dad at the shop or dad out at the places, and now it's kind of changed more to where it's like it's more about you, right? Like it's not as much as the rap and stuff. Obviously, like you can, if you're on Pain is Dead, like it's, you know, it's all a certain thing, but when you're looking at Austin Smith stuff, a lot of it is around you, right? So that's pretty awesome. What is that like, and where are you at with it? Like, so it's football, right? Like that's the big passion.
Yeah, football. I've always told him I want to play football and I want to have a relationship with wrapping cars and with being with cars. Like in Jacksonville, we have Cars and Octane. The second month of every Saturday, I'll go to those and I'll just be around cars.
That's cool.
Anytime one of his friends gets a new cool car, I'll go there with him.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to play football and still be with him and like support him and be involved with cars and wrap and Pain is Dead. I've always told him I just want to be involved a little bit.
So what does football look like for you? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I played sports as a kid, and it didn't look like this. It seems like you're pretty involved.
Yeah, it's definitely very different nowadays, but training 4-5 times a week. Just it's not even just about training anymore. It's about trying to get better, and the relationships I have with my coaches. All my coaches are just a good support with me, and I've been with all my coaches for 4+ years now.
You're dropping bombs.
Yeah, I feel like every time I turn around, Austin's posting something that you just like
just ripping.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that's a dad right there. Like
proud dad moment for sure.
Anytime I go to any event, everybody says this is a football player. So
this is an NFL quarterback, Nate Peterman, who graduated from a high school that he played football for the last 2 years, and his sister graduated from as well. That comes back to Jacksonville, did a training with them right there. Nate Peterman on the left, and one of his coaches on the right there. So I mean, this kid does all the football practice that you do through conditioning in the summer and all that through the fall, and then on top of it, 3 to 4 nights a week is arm care, throwing training, lifting weights, speed and agility, like all those things. And so talk about like passing on passion. Mm-hmm. You can tell like, when he takes something on, it's everything. It's all encompassing for him.
Sure. Do you feel like it's a chore, or is it something that you love still?
I still love it very much. Some of the conditioning feels like chores.
Yeah.
Not a big running person, but like for the end result, it's something I love to do, and it's something I'm willing to do what I love. So
so you're saying if you got to go out and run a few miles, if that's the worst part of it, you're going to be all right. Yeah, that's cool. So when you look towards the future, obviously, like I think football is a big part of that. Yeah. So planning on college. Yeah, playing college ball. Have you looked past that much? And what does that look like? So for, just so like I don't know a lot about that space, right? So I think that it's one thing. It's a pretty cool opportunity that you've got anyway, right? Yeah. The fact that you can train as much as you are, and like you're involved, and obviously you've got some skill, right? So that's cool to see. But like as you look towards the future, like is there a clear pathway there? Like that you're excited about, or do you look forward to?
Yeah, I don't think anything's clear, like it's set in stone of what I'm going to do. Like obviously I could end high school with no offers. I could end high school with 50. But yeah, the goal is to go to college, overall college for free, and then see what happens after that.
Yeah.
But that's always been the goal, to play college football and go to college for free. But I still want to be involved with Pain is Dead, and even if I'm not part of it, I just want to be involved in it, and just still be able to talk to people with it and like have experience in that.
That's pretty cool.
So, because I've seen a couple of the posts where you like you look excited, like you're sharing like the rides, because I've seen a few different wraps that your car has been right.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just seem like you're into it more than
So if you look when you look towards the wrapping stuff, like have you considered installation? Or
I definitely have.
Yeah. Something you're interested in?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's still a kind of process I need to.
Sure. Well, you look busy.
Yeah,
right?
Just either like if I'm going to do it, just start it now, and if I'm not going to do it, then kind of just keep going on with football. But my plan is to go on with football right now, and if I choose to really do installation too,
sure,
make some time for that, cut out some trainings that I don't need as much.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably hard right now.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah.
It's definitely harder. It's different. But that's overall the plan.
Yeah. So what about for you? Like watching him go through all this, like it's a lot. Like we got my son into racing a couple years ago, and he got into a bad kind of a bad crash. Scared the shit out of me, man. Like it freaked me out. Like, and so like being and quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing quarterback. So like pretty much everybody's job on the field is to just destroy him in every possible way. Is that?
Yeah, he in early on, and I'm talking like 5 to 7 years old, he was playing flag football, and the joke was that we played flag football for a church so that more people would be praying for him than just his mom. So, as we moved on from that, I moved into actually like tackle football. His mom was pretty open to it. I've always been open to it. I think it's a great opportunity for him to really keep him focused. You don't have time to get involved in things you shouldn't be. You don't have time to hang out with people you probably shouldn't be. You're really focused on what's ahead of you and growing and hopefully attaining some positivity down the road. And so for us,
do you think it's done that?
I think it has. Yeah, I think it has. He's got a great group of friends. We don't have problems with a 16-year-old boy, which some could. But ultimately, we support him wholeheartedly. And I've told him, I said, listen, we will provide as much training and as much opportunity to you as you want. But the moment you don't want to do it anymore, then we don't. And so for me, it's been an amazing ride to watch him grow.
Yeah.
We saw at a very young age that he had a great hand-eye coordination, that he always ended up in that quarterback position. And so it's been a natural position for him. It's a tough position. There's only one quarterback on the field at any given time. So it's not like you can be a receiver and you're 1 of 4 or 1 of 3, a lineman, you're 1 of 6 or anything like that. You're 1 of 1. And so, it's a tough battle. It's enduring for him when he's not always winning the things he wants. And obviously, even as a sports parent, when you see something go the wrong way, it's like, oh, look at that guy, he sucks, get him off. And you got to sit right next to that parent who's like, talking shit about your kid. And so, for us, it's a learning experience. For him, it's a learning experience. But we've just been parents to the best of our ability and just supported him along the way and let him be who he can be as we go. So that's our goal moving forward.
So Austin kind of touched on that just then, like him being a parent in the rap industry. Right? It's pretty demanding. Like it requires a lot out of, and I can, speaking from a parent standpoint, like I know it's tough, you know what I mean? Like it's, like my son's got a pretty good sense of humor and he makes little jokes and it's like, but when he says it, man, it's like, oh man, that's tough. You know what I mean? It's hard. So how has that been? Cause your dad's a busy guy and there's a lot of people that want his attention and like, so.
It's definitely hard to deal with sometimes, but I think understanding growing up and being a little bit more mature than some people my age and just knowing that I can't have his attention fully and I'm okay with that. And it's not the end of the world. It's gotten a lot better over the years.
Sure.
He's kind of settled down a little bit more.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Seems like he's busier now than ever.
Yeah. But he makes time for my family and me and my sisters and he ends up making time with us. So I don't mind when he works a little bit later. Some days he comes home at 6, some days he comes at 4:30. I'm normally away anyways. Trainings, I normally get home until like 8. So I don't really feel an effect of it as much as my mom, but it's definitely kind of hard, but you just have to deal with that as a son as someone like him. But also I think growing up in the rap industry, like I said, I've been more mature than other people, and that's thanks to like growing up with older people. Like anytime I get in an argument with my family, they'll be like, you've always been more mature. But that comes with problems. You can't. You're not an adult yet. You can't. You can't. You can't act like an adult. But that's just part of it that I have to learn. So it makes it challenging, but it's also fun.
Yeah. No, it's cool because you seem real level-headed. Right. Like, and I would assume one, you don't see that a lot in 16-year-olds. Period. Right. They're pretty high strung. But then also, I would say that it probably plays a big factor of why that role on the football field fits
Yeah.
you so well because, you know, level-headed quarterbacks, it's almost mandatory. Like you can't, you know, pressure, the pressure is coming. It's not if, it's when, right? Then so it's probably always going to be there as you're playing. Like a lot of that stuff falls on your shoulders, you know? So it requires a level of maturity. And I think that's cool. Like you can, like I said, you can just see it.
Yeah.
I was curious, you know, this is the first time we've done anything like this. It's kind of a rapid fire, like let's see how it goes. And so like, you know, having an opportunity to sit down, like this is the first time we've really got a chance to talk other than just a little bit of small talk here and there. But like, this is cool. It's pretty exciting to get to hear it and, you know, see. Yeah. And it's funny because again, like through social media, it's like I've had this opportunity to kind of like follow along your journey and like I'm seeing this stuff happen and it's like, you know, we're rooting for you, you know, it's like, it's cool. Yeah. Because, you know, he does some really good job of capturing a lot of this stuff. Like Josh just pulled up 2 videos almost instantly, like you know, you out there doing that stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. It's exciting. I asked him what the future looks like. Where do you stand on the future? Like, how does that fall for you? I mean, I know it's a huge obligation. I mean, just
yeah, it is. And obviously you get that question a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, he's going to the NFL. Oh, he's doing this. And so for us, it's always been like keeping a level head.
I think it's exciting because from the outside looking in, it's like you want to hear that young hope. You know, I'm sitting here like I wanted to hear pro.
Yeah.
I want him to say, Scott, I'm going pro, right? And I get it. Like he's got to be humble and he's got to be level-headed and like he's not trying to get ahead of himself, right? But it's like there's a part of me that's like, come on, just say it. I know you feel it. Like you don't train like that if like it's not on your radar. Like, but I get it. I also understand where you're coming from. But for you, it's like you got to support him through that.
You do,
and, you know, and like that's big. That's a lot of obligation.
Through the ups and the downs,
for sure.
You know, and there was somebody once said, he said, you know, if you get too low on the lows and too high on the highs, then, you know, you really live on this roller coaster.
Sure.
And that's true. And so what we've always taught him, and I'm a very monotone person too, I'm very even keeled. You don't see me get like crazy high, crazy lows. I'm really just kind of like middle of the road.
Yep.
And I think he carries that attribute for me. And it is advantageous for him in the position he plays to play that level-headed.
Well, same with you though. Like if, you know, being a business owner, you can't do that. You know, if you can't, it'll destroy you. That up and down pound, it just cripple you in a minute. So you have to have that. So it's fitting for both of you.
Yeah, and so for us, it's always one day at a time. You know, let's finish your sophomore year and get into junior. Let's play junior year and see where that lands. Let's play senior year and see where that lands. So there's so much more time between where he is now and where even college is.
Gotcha.
And there's so much opportunity at the collegiate level. It's obviously, you know, you're dealing with thousands of people fighting for the same job. But ultimately, there's a lot of opportunity there and way less opportunity at the level beyond that. And so for us, it's just it's a journey. I think that's what a lot of people refer to it as you've gotten to that pro level. And we're solid in the understanding that if nothing else, he's walked away with an extreme amount of diligence in what he does, passion for what he enjoys, and discipline to do the things that, you know, most kids may struggle to do. And I want to talk about like sometimes up at 5:30 in the morning, getting ready to, you know, go to school and practice and everything before, you know, 3 hours before it starts. And so if nothing else, if we walk away at the end of this deal and it ends tomorrow, he's walked away with a mentality that set him up to succeed in life and in business and in anything else that he ventures down the path of. So
that's I'm glad you said it because I wanted kind of the next thing I wanted to lead into was you know, he kind of mentioned that it sounds like you know he's into the rapping thing. You know what I mean? And he almost has that look in his eye like he's
a car kid.
He's pretty proud of you and the impact you've had on the industry, and that's cool, and it's kind of inspired him a little bit to look down that path. What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts about your kid being a rap kid one day?
I'd love it. You know, obviously, if I said I didn't want him to be that way, how could I possibly be real in saying that I want this industry to grow? So,
well, I could see you coming from the perspective of saying like, you know, like he's passionate about the football thing, and like you want to stand, and you would love for him to see him run that out. So I could see that being an angle of like, forget the rapping stuff, kid. Like you're doing great at this. You keep doing this, you're going to be all right.
Well, let me tell you, I mean that takes off, or that gets him to the next level, and the next level, then rapping's not going to be thought of. And he's not going to show you that. But you know,
he might still have a rap car.
He will buy y'all cars.
I'll always have a rap car.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think he always will. And so, you know, for us, it's just it's supporting a kid that's passionate about something. The girls are older than him; they're already kind of in career and in life. and he's our youngest. And so he's kind of the last of the Mohicans that's on that final trek through the end of high school now. And what we see ahead is unknown at this point. But we're going to keep supporting him. We're going to keep working to make sure he's out there in front of everybody and has every opportunity he can, just like any parent would do for a kid. But I do think he's had a very unique perspective to kind of watch Paint Is Dead develop and grow and, see the products in the marketplace. And, it just shows that wrapping is like a cool thing. Like 16-year-old kids want their cars wrapped. And so how cool is that for us in the industry to know that we've made an impact all the way down to a kid getting their first car? It's not enough to just have their first car, but it's like it's not wrapped. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of has done a great thing overall, and just again spurring the general marketplace to understand what wraps are and things like that. So it's a cool thing to see him grow through these things and excel at the things he's doing. I mean, talk about everyone says like, oh, is he in college yet? And I'm like, he's a sophomore, but a sophomore throwing 1,600 yards a year, a season. 16 touchdowns last year, like a 70% completion ratio. So, I mean, like, really, he's got the aptitude to be really, really good at what he loves. And so we just want to support that and help him grow into a space that gives him every opportunity to get to where he wants to go.
That's cool, man. I know with my daughter, she cheers, and it eats up a ton of her time. Like, it's similar to your schedule, right?
Yeah, so during spring, I just transferred schools, and it's about 35 minutes away. So for morning workouts that have normally been waking up and leaving 20 minutes before it starts, it's leaving an hour before it starts. So instead of waking up, it starts at 7, instead of waking up at 6:30, 6:40, it's waking up at 5:30 to leave at the right time. So it does take up a lot of time, and then staying after school to do more workouts, and, or coming home and then having to leave immediately and coming home later and repeat the same thing is hard.
Was the school transfer, was that intentional? For sports?
For sports and school.
The school was better, and the sports were the coaching was better. And so, I mean, one thing we've endured, and you see a kid at 14, 15, 16 years old enduring coaching that just says like, we want to coach because we want our kid to play. The whole daddy ball experience. You watch them kind of endure these things where kids that really aren't better necessarily qualified, or you got kids that they won't even let compete with them. They're like, no, you're not going to compete. This is the guy. And you've got to kind of sit back to do that. But the last 2 years, he's had the starting job both times, and it was great. It just was poor coaching. And the coaching, the style of football they wanted to run was more of a running. And you go like, well, if you want to run the ball, that doesn't really help us.
Sure. And this might be an obvious question, but does the impact of the team, does that reflect back onto the quarterback position? I mean, is that so to see him on a winning team is obviously just going to make him look better? Is that kind of the logic on it?
I think from a quarterback perspective, as long as their statistics look good, their numbers are good, losing or winning isn't really as impactful. But 6-1 season last year, they did really well. They lost the first game and didn't lose a game after that. And the team supports him.
So it was still a good year. It wasn't
Oh no, not a bad year at all. But the right move to move to the new school and a better coaching staff and just opportunity. Like that's what you're always looking for, is the best opportunity.
Well, that's cool that you support him for those opportunities. And it's also cool that you're willing to step up to the plate too, because now with you driving, you're probably getting up on your own, right? Like you're preparing the day and that comes with it. So you kind of probably had to you were a part of making that choice to switch schools, right? Yeah. So you knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew these long or early mornings and long days were ahead of you.
Yeah. The responsibility is definitely showing now that I have to step up and I have to be better about certain things I do, certain things I eat, just certain things that I need to do time-wise. I still am a big procrastinator, and that has to change. Like, that had to change when I transferred schools. I can't stay up late as much anymore. So it's just a big change in my life that I had to deal with. And I don't think I would have been able to do it without seeing my dad having to do it a couple times.
Sure.
So now seeing him do it and me having to do it, it's a lot easier.
Sure. And probably makes you understand, like, have a hundred perspective of, you know, what your dad's going through and what he's doing and the hard work he's putting in, It's pretty cool.
Seeing all that, I 100% believe it will make me a better person growing up, and better. If I don't play football, I'm just an employee, and better employee, and just creates better habits that I will be able to taken my life further.
For sure. No, I couldn't agree with that more. There was something you said the procrastination, and I wanted to ask you, and I get it. Like, it's probably with your dad being here, it's probably hard to answer this, but I'm just curious. Is there a guilty pleasure? Is there something like outside of football and rapping that you find yourself diving into? Think long and hard about the answer to this.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just procrastination that I struggle with.
Okay.
Like,
I would expect video games, maybe girls. Games. I can see girls being 16 years old, that being a thing.
Yeah, that some of the I know it's gonna get exposed, but it's mostly just wanting to stay out later with friends on certain days. Like summer, my deal has been out till 10 and then come home. And if I'm gonna be late, or if I just want extra time, I have to ask my dad. I can't just stay out extra. I stay out as long as I want. So
that seems fair.
Yeah, just having the responsibility of managing my time and knowing I can't stay this long, and knowing I can't spend this much money, which I have a problem with too.
Yeah, we all do. It's all right. It takes a little time to get used to it.
And just learning how to control myself is. He's done a really good job of helping me like understand that, giving me tips of how to control everything about that. But I think transferring has overall been a big part of why I've been having to change that mindset.
No, I think that's awesome, dude. I think like I started to say it a second ago about my daughter, like just watching her go through this process of like constantly training. Like when I was a kid, we weren't doing anything. You know what I mean? Like it was a long day was riding my bike around the city. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's been really cool to like watch her and the things that she's doing and the dedication that it requires and the things that you're learning, man. It's so wild to hear you say it as a 16-year-old kid, to be able to recognize the fact that like all this stuff that you're putting forth the effort, it's one thing to see the immediate results, right? So you can train really hard throwing a football and then see that like you're getting better at that.
Yeah.
But then also to like somewhere be able to compartmentalize, like not only is this good for this, but it's also gonna, regardless of whatever direction that I go. And that tells me that you're getting some damn good training, right? Yeah. And it's gotta, you're not just getting it on the football field, you're getting it at home too. Yeah. And so that's awesome. So I think that's kudos to you for being a good representation. I think this couldn't have went any better. Yeah. I give you an opportunity if there's anything else that you want to touch on while we're doing this. But Lambert, did we miss anything there? That's pretty. That's pretty smoky.
Pretty much crushed it.
I would highly recommend giving your mom a shout out. In my experiences, I've learned that the important women in your life, it's nice to.
Do you know Brad Felty?
So then shout out to my mom.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, with my experience, I've learned that like without Dana, my wife, and being there for Caitlin, there's no way that we could possibly do it. Because before you got your license, them having to drive you to all these events and everything, like that's a lot, you know. And if your mom's anything like her, like she's cooking the meals and like she's preparing all this stuff, and it's like, and it's funny listening to, I'm going to kind of put my daughter on blast a little bit, but it's like listening to her like, oh man, I had to eat this thing, you know, I had to like still, this is like meal that I had to eat these specific things. And it's like, oh, you had to make your food today? Is that what you She was like, no, I just had to eat it. Like, yeah, you didn't even have to do anything. You just ate it. And that was hard. That was your hard work for the day. So anyways.
First world problems.
Yep.
My mom's the same way though. She would drive me to a lot of the weekend or weekday things she would have to drive me to, and a lot of the weekend things my dad would drive me to. So just the help between both of them it was a lot of support.
Yeah. No, and you'll look back one day and like that it'll be huge for you. Yeah. It's a big deal. And it sounds like you already see it. So that's awesome. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on and doing this with us. Like this was something different out of the pocket for us, and I think it was a great opportunity. So and I appreciate you being cool all day and hanging out.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
It's at a wrap shop. I'm comfortable with this.
This is your space. I feel that. So cool. All right. Awesome. Anything else you want to add to it?
Just thanks for having us. Yeah. We really appreciate you coming up and being able to hang out with you guys in your space. And it's a beautiful shop. And if you're in the North Carolina area and you don't stop by and check these guys out, you're doing yourself a disservice. So.
It sounds like maybe a nomination for Rap Shop of the Year. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm just putting it out there that if it's possible, it could happen. So, all right, guys. Thanks again.
My vote.
Yeah.
Podcast of the year.
Yeah, podcast. Pretty much anything at this point will be fine. It doesn't even matter. Mustache of the year. I'll take whatever, however we can get it. All right. Thanks, fellas.
All right. Yeah.
All right, let's go.